another Coffee with Kilroy. So grab a cup of coffee or Joe or Java or juice or whatever you like to drink. And join me for Coffee with Kilroy. Now, I started out these as just kind of little talks, mainly going over Avalon Hill catalogs, but I've run out of Avalon Hill catalogs. So I'm going to turn these into this little coffee talks about whatever, comes to my mind and whatever I feel like, covering that day. And today I thought I'd bolster my bookshelf playlist. Check out my bookshelf playlist down below, talking about war game books or history books, military history books, or books about war games or the like. This one goes in that category as well. This one is kind of a continuation of my last piece that I just did, which dealt with alt history. This is kind of falls into that alt history theme. This is What If, edited by Robert Cowley. The world's foremost military historians imagine what might have been. And this was a New York Times bestseller, and it has essays from, you probably recognize some of these authors: Stephen Ambrose, John Keegan, David McCullough, James McPherson, and others. So this is a collection of essays that are all dealing with hypotheticals, the what if, what if this happened, what if that happened. And so I kind of like these in that they presuppose that you have some knowledge of the event, because otherwise when you're reading about it, you're like, well, why does that make a big difference? They give you some background on it, and then they go into the what if factor. But so you can learn some good history just by reading these, because you learn what really happened, and then they say what might have happened or what were the effects that could have changed that. So I do like that aspect of these books. And I said books because there's two. There's this one, and I might do a separate thing on this one. This is What If 2, some different authors and some different, edited by Robert Cowley again, but it does some different what if situations. So I'm just going to do a quick, overview of this and see what you guys think about it. Oh, sorry about my wristband here today. I had a echocardiogram this morning, and which reminds me, you guys all need to take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. There's a lot of stuff going on, but also, be safe with your body. Make sure that you're doing your checkups and you're seeing what's going on. And I had some major heart issues a few years back, and I'm not that old, but so that was kind of scary, but old enough that I need to take better care of myself. So maybe several cups of coffee every morning is not the best for that, but it's cold out and I do need that. So, but anyway, get off my soapbox. Just end that with take care of yourself, check in with your doctors, make sure everything is okay. Even if it's just a minor thing, you might want to have it checked out. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go into the what if. That kind of falls into the what if. What if I had taken better care of myself? I might not have had those heart attacks and all those stents. Anyway, so here's the table of contents, and they're really not long essays. As you can see here, this one's only like 15 pages, and this one is less than 20. I mean, they're not very long essays, but yet they give you a little bit of synopsis of the historical situation and then the events that, could have changed that and what were the ramifications of those what if events. And these are military historians that are writing these. So a lot of these are, most if not all these are kind of focused on a military aspect of, kind of the what if. You have here the plague that saved Jerusalem. What if the Persians win at Salamis? And then what are the effects of that? The premature death of Alexander. This one's about, there was early in one of the battles, one of his soldiers saved him. And the question is, what if they didn't save him? What would have not happened? The Hellenization of, the Middle East. and all the effects that Alexander had, even though he was only around a very short time on this earth, conquered a lot and established a lot of cities in his name, and added to the Hellenization of that environment. So that's an interesting what if. The Teutoburg forest battle. This is what if the Romans won, and that was a major kind of ambush and defeat of the Romans, and it kept them out of the Germanic states for several hundred years. What if that would have changed, and what if Romans were able to Romanize some of the Germanic states, and maybe not even have the German Empire of coming to forefront in the 1860s and 70s, and of course World War I, World War II, all that kind of stuff. Interesting stuff there. You have what the Mongols turned back. This is an interesting thing here. They turned back. It was the tradition that when one of the Khans die, you had to go back to the funeral, and they were on the steps of Vienna, and if they would have pushed forward, I mean, the Mongols may have taken over most of Europe, if not all of Europe, but they had to turn back for that, and they never again extended their reach as far as they'd done at that time. So again, another what if here. Let's see some other ones I just pull out here. The immolation of Cortez. This is dealing with the conquering of Mexico. The Spanish Armada triumphs. There's an interesting one. We all know about the fateful Spanish Armada and the fire ships, English fire ships, and what have you. But this is a what if. What if the Spanish, and that was the end of, Spanish dominance especially in Europe, but especially and definitely on the seas. So that's a kind of what if that situation. So 13 ways the Americans could have lost the revolution. That's an interesting one there. The fog, what the fog wrought, the revolution's Dunkirk. This was that situation where the American Revolutionary forces were escaping from New York under cover of fog, and what if they weren't able to escape and their army was destroyed there in New York early on? This was in 1776, so that would have had a huge change on the rest of the world. Napoleon wins at Waterloo. That's always a big what if. Well, that's why we play Waterloo games, right? The Lost Orders. This was the Robert E. Lee. Of course, his orders were found in a cigar case before the Battle of Antietam, and then of course McClellan, as he's liked to do, did not really act upon him, but he did have enough information to force a Confederate withdrawal eventually from Antietam. But it could have been a complete defeat and maybe an annihilation of the Southern Army at Antietam if he had acted upon the orders that he had found, but he kind of ignored them. So it kind of an interesting what if there. Some more on the Civil War, the what ifs of 1914. So we're going into World War I here, and that's by the editor of this, Robert Cowley here. Keegan, how Hitler could have won the war. You guys probably all like that. This is the drive for the Middle East. Our Midway disaster. What happens if the Japanese win Midway? Here's a huge what if there. And again, the reason why I find these interesting is this is kind of one of the reasons why we play war games. I mean, we're always trying to see what the other outcome is, or how would the other side, the side that lost or historically lost, how they would have fared in a different environment, as you're simulating the game. And this kind of goes into the result of that. So what if you now that you won, now what happens, right? You're going to go to Disney World, or what's going to happen? So funeral in Berlin and China without tears. This is Chiang Kai-shek. I think this is one where he actually takes over instead of the communist in China, and so that's an interesting aspect as well. So they're not very long essays here. They're all about anywhere from 15 to 20 or so pages. There's a list of maps, so there's maps involved here. And it's a pretty good read. I mean, you can go through these relatively quickly. They have a little introduction here, And then they go into the actual essay that gives you some historical context, but also really is focusing on the event that could have been the pivotal event, and then what is the result of that event. Anyway, these are nice little what if books. They have some images there and what have you. So I find these to be a good read. I'll cover the other one in a separate, probably do it in a coffee for Kilroy. You can see maps here. Here's the Mongol conquest of Europe. So this is the one where they got all the way far into Europe, and then had to be called back to for a funeral of the Khan. So anyway, that is What If, edited by Robert Cowley. This is volume number 1. And I highly recommend these. If you're a student of military history, there's a lot of good military history in here, and you might not agree with their what ifs. You might say, well, that's not right, or that's not what would happen. But that's the whole purpose of this, right? Is to spark thought and debate. So anyway, that's my coffee with Kilroy today. Enjoy your cup of whatever you're drinking. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. What are your thoughts of this? Have you read this or the other one? Do you like these? Start up a dialogue. If you think these are full of it, or if you think that they make some good points, what's your thoughts on it? If there's other books like these that you think are good or worthwhile, put those recommendations in the comments as well. Love to hear them. But again, thank you for spending some time with me. Check up. Guys, check in on all yourselves. Make sure that everything's good for all you out there. Man, woman, and child. Make sure you're doing okay. And this is definitely not the safest of times, but make sure everything's okay with the basic aspects of your body as well. So anyway, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your cup of whatever, and have a good one. Thanks for watching.